Hey Leo, Mariah here. It's a pleasure to be reading for you. We got Lucky in the corner just sleeping and chilling with us. But I want to go ahead and I want to see what is the biggest blessing for you happening in May. I think this is really important to look at to understand what is going to be happening to you that is going to benefit you, whether we understand it, see it, know it, or not. I want to see what's coming in for you this month of May. So let's go ahead and get into your reading. All right, Leo, so let's get into this and let's see what the biggest blessing, I guess, here of your May 2023 is. So for Leo Spirit, okay, thank you. We have Kindred Spirit. Let's get another one. Purity. And I want to get one more. Gratitude. Transition is on the bottom of the deck. I just heard you're not responsible for them. You aren't responsible for them. No one's entitled to the new version of you, Leo. No one is entitled, and I mean this, no one is entitled to the new version of you. Don't feel obligated to be there, to do for, to show up for people in this new season of you, in this new version of you. It's almost like I don't know, it's like whether it's a person or people, multiple or singular, I feel like I'm speaking to a Leo specifically. Of course, here we go with the damn specifics, but I feel like I'm speaking to a Leo specifically where someone or somebody's have this sense of entitlement or the sense of obligation to you in this new path that you're charting, and they don't. And they may go to certain resorts of guilt, manipulation, projecting, gaslighting, to then either extract from you your energy for you to still show up for them, for you to still be present for them, for you to still do for them, and you're not. I just feel the energy, and I know this whole social media term of like soft life, but that's what it comes down to. It feels like you're moving into, in the month of May, if you're not there, you will be there in the month of May, to the specifically that I'm talking to, where you're just moving into a more calmer nature in life. You're just moving to a more easier place in life. And the thing about it is, one of the areas you may be looking at as point of focus is maybe your purpose, and you're wanting to really utilize that. And purpose doesn't just encompass the direction that you want to go or what you want to utilize out of your abilities to then feel fulfilled in life on the external level, but also to your purpose. This has to deal with the internal workings. And it kind of takes me back a little bit here, Leo, because you may have had to always have been the responsible one. You may have been looked at as the go-to person. You may have been looked at as the person that was going to show up, show out, and do for. You may have had other people put this perspective onto your perception onto you. And don't get me wrong, at times, yes, maybe you had to show up. Maybe you felt like you had to be obligated, but no more, no mas. That season is done. That season is over. You can take that off and rub it off of you. You don't need to carry that residual energy. And I don't feel like you are. And that's where I think this conflict is coming from. But mind you, this is a blessing. And the reason why it feels like it's a blessing, because it's like you're breaking the chains. Now I'm hearing that Fleetwood Mac song. Yeah, it is called Break the Chains. Now I'm hearing that song because you really are breaking the chains, and it's like you really want to be tunnel vision in where you're going. And it's like it's harder to give up than it is to not try. And you're really in the season of, okay, I may have spent my teens, my 20s, my 30s feeling like I'm obligated to other people, or I have to care or be considerate of this person or their situation, or I have to keep this person and their circumstances in mind before I start to really map out what's going to be best for me. I still have to keep in mind these things that may be weighing me down or that I have to carry on my back like baggage, but you don't. You already put down the bags, or you're putting down the bags. And now you're in the place of self-discovery. And I think it's a very liberating time. I think it's a very refreshing time for you. And again, if you don't feel that, you will start to feel that in the month of May. But I will say to you, Leo, as you blossom or as you flower into the newer version of yourself, and you're going to always continue to go through different transitional periods of who you are as you get older, you're going to constantly evolve. We all know this. But this new evolution, this new place, this new phase that you're going to, the people or circumstances that surrounded you in your past, they're not permitted into this newer version of yourself. They're not allowed, access is denied. But I would be careful because you do got a big heart. You have a very blessed heart. And that's your weakness, but also your strength, your loyalty. That's your Achilles heel. Because sometimes we can be loyal to a fault. Sometimes our heart can be too big to a fault. And sometimes we still want to show up when those circumstances, people, or situations no longer benefit us. But how did those circumstances, people, or situations really benefited you? And that's what I ask you. Really, how have they benefited you? When you look back on the timeline, when you weigh out on the scales, how much did you truly receive versus how much shit you were dealt? So I go back into your purpose because I think not to focus on what you've been through and the responsibilities you've had to have and the responsibilities that were on your plate and you having to be, maybe from growing up, maybe you had to be the adult. In your teen years, maybe you were like the mom or the dad or the friend. Maybe you felt like you had to take on certain roles and be responsible for yourself. Even in your 30s, maybe life started to develop, you start getting a little bit older, and yet all of these other circumstances of people surrounded you were on your plate. And when have you really, and I mean really, really had that moment to just feel like, okay, I get to chart a new course, but it's about me, not other people's entitlements or their obligations that they want to place over me, but it's about me now, what I want and what I truly desire. And I think your purpose that you're going into, well, this is taking me into purpose. Okay. Your purpose that you're going into, Leo, is composed of two different facets here. One facet being the external, the other facet being the internal. And I think you're in this sense of self-discovery of, okay, how do I merge both together and what does these things look like? And through finding purpose, because mind you, you don't go and find purpose. Purpose finds you and who you are as a man or woman in this stage of your life. These are through new experiences, right? New adventures, new exploration, new uncharted territories that you're going to be divulging, diving into. Whether it is expanding your horizons with your knowledge or learning new things, whether it's through your spirituality or any type of faith-based learning, whether it is incorporating maybe new regimens, routines, experiences. Maybe it's through travel. Maybe it's through new life experiences as far as maybe becoming parent. Nonetheless, you're discovering you in this phase of life. And all of it really brings me back to, again, I hate to use the social media saying of soft life, but you just want a life of ease, not an easy life, because you know that life is not easy, but you want a life of ease. But whatever this has been, whatever's been maybe restricting you or making you feel confined, it doesn't have to be as of late, but it can be in your former years. You're breaking free from that and you're moving into you. So I would tell, and I gotta get into the cards. Let me go ahead. Spirit, tell me, Leo, what is their biggest blessing? Four of Swords. What did I say about the soft life? And then the Eight of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Mute. You're going mute. You are going mute on something. I think you're taking the time for yourself. And I will say, it may not be, for some of you, if you resonate, it may not be the easiest thing to do, to walk away from those situations, circumstances, and people you may have felt obligated from, but that's not your responsibility. Those people that may have made you feel like they were entitled to you, or entitled to your time, or entitled to your energy, or entitled to your service, entitled to your loyalty, your devotion, to you showing up for them, they got their own separate life. That's on them to structure or restructure their life so they can fulfill those needs and not depend upon you. They have the ability, and more than likely as grown adults or just as people in general, to figure out their own circumstances, situations, and their own path. That's not on you. But yet, let's put it on Leo. Let's look at Leo. Leo's gonna do this for me. Leo always shows up for me. Leo always there. Yeah, Leo do. That ain't your problem. It's truly not. And I think this is kind of, it reminds me a little bit of a psychological mind F, because when you take away that privilege and that access from people that have that mindset, it almost is like they go into panic, whether consciously or unconsciously, because now who fills that void for them? But again, it's not your problem. It's not your issue. So don't take that on. Please don't take that on. And some of you already know. You already know better and you're already doing better. So I give kudos to you. But don't take it on, because like I said, they had every single chance, opportunity, and moment to structure their life, to take care of their SHIT, to handle things in their own way, to do things for themselves, to get things going the way they need to get going. And yet they want to put the responsibility onto you. Whether you felt like this is what happened in your childhood, in your teen years, in your early 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, etc., that was on them. That's not on you. And sometimes we tend to take that burden and bearing on, especially as a Leo, with their loyalty and the way your heart is set up. No mas, and you know this, and that's why you're saying no mas. You're not dealing with it no more. You're done. You're over with it, and that's why you're walking your own path. But through that path you're walking, you're finding your purpose. You're looking at yourself. You're wondering, okay, who am I? And you're doing new things. You're moving into new territories that is allowing you to align yourself with who you are spiritually, mentally, psychologically, and emotionally. And I'm sorry, these people are nothing but a burden. These situations are nothing but baggage. These situations and people are nothing but a headache. And to go into a very calm, cool, collected, soft life state, again, not an easy life, but a soft one, all the noise got to be muted. And I think in the month of May, either one or two things: you are muting the noise and saying no mas, no bueno, hasta luego. Or for others of you, you've already done that. And now this is the month, in the month of May, where you're being cracked open. And I mean wide open. Whether it's through new opportunities you're aligning yourself with, maybe you're taking the plunge and hopping into something that maybe you weren't really, you don't really know how it's going to play out, but you feel intuitively, spiritually, soulfully connected. You know, it's that blind faith. It's like, all right, spirit, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm going to follow you. And if I'm following you, lead me in the right direction. And I trust that you will. That inner feeling that can make us uncomfortable. Our intuition makes us uncomfortable. It can give us almost that anxious feeling where it can dissuade us from going towards it, but instinctually that's where you got to go. It goes to the saying, if it scares you, do it. That's a lot of times your intuition telling you that's the right decision. And then in the month of May, it feels like you're making decisions based off of that. You're making choices based off maybe that fear feeling or that scared feeling or that uncertainty, because your intuition, your spirit guides, but especially the people that are protecting you from above on the other side, they know what's on the other side of that door, and they're nudging at you. But psychologically and how the human body processes it, it comes through as anxiety or fear. No. And I think I'm excited for you for this, because these little moments that you're going to be partaking in the month of May, again, if it scares you, if you feel fearful, if you feel like, I don't know how, do it. Within reason, because I don't know your life circumstances, so don't be blaming me if something go wrong. But do it. If you know intuitively, this is where you got to listen to your intuition. If you know intuitively, yes, this is it, do it, Leo. Do it, do it, do it. And I think you are, and you're releasing the excess and the extra noise that's holding you down, weighing you down, and preventing you from doing it. So I love you. I hope you guys are good. Don't judge my shirt with the gloves. But I will catch you on the next reading. Lucky loves you too. He is here. And bye. Have a good May.